Hi, welcome to Mike Garner's first attempt at a video blog. This is a blog where I hope to explain some extra features you can do with the TCL scripting language on a Cisco router. And as you can see in front of you, the setup I've got now is a small GLS network where I've got two routers, R1 and R2. On R2 I've created 11 loopback addresses, 0 through to 10, and I've advertised them using the RIP protocol, just RIP version 2. To R1, and from R1 I intend to ping some of those loopback addresses and use a clever little test. So I guess the first thing I'm going to do is just ping 10.255.255.1, which is one of my IP addresses, to make sure there's connectivity, and as you can see there is. That works fine. So if you've seen my previous blog, I'll put a link on this blog to it. We'll see the TCL scripts we used was TCL scripts to start it. For each, and our variable, the variable I used before was IP address, but I'm just going to use IP, and then open our curly brackets, and we had a list. So I'm going to do a quick one of 10.255.255.1, we'll do 2, and we'll leave it there for now because I just wanted to give you a demonstration. On the previous example I closed the curly brackets, opened my next part with some more curly brackets, put space in there. And then we used the puts command, which I described in my last blog as being very similar to the print on BBC Basic, if anyone remembers that from the 80s. I'm old enough to remember it. And what we're going to do is we're going to print a command effectively to Cisco iOS, and we put this in a square brackets, and we put in the command execs. It's a privilege mode command we're going to do, and the command is just going to be ping and our IP address. Now we can use their variable rather than typing the IP addresses, and our variable starts with a $sign, it's just going to be IP. As you can see from the first line, for each IP, that's our variable. And that is basically all I wanted to do with the original script. We can close off our square brackets first, then we can close off our curly brackets. In fact, I'm going to press return first and then do the curly brackets, as the closing of the final set of brackets will start the script running. I press return now. Hopefully we get our 2 pings, and there you go. That was the ping script I demonstrated as a first form, just to really show the for each puts command variation. What I plan to do next is to write a similar script, but I'm going to put a conditional element. I'm going to do a for if else statement. So effectively we're going to do a test depending on the results. If the result is good, it would do something, otherwise it would do something else. It's quite a simple programming sort of conditional, I think I call it conditional statement if I'm not mistaken. And we're going to use obviously regular expressions, and I'll start by starting the script. Obviously the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create our variable. So I'm going to use exactly the same variable as before, so we use IP, and we're going to create a list. The list is obviously your IP addresses. Mine's quite simply these addresses, but obviously you could vary this part of the script and have different addresses if you had different sublets to ping. So I'm going to ping address number 1, address number 2, address number 3, address number 4, and then finally address number 5. So that's our list of pingable addresses. We can close that particular variable with the curly brackets, and now we're going to start with our if statement. I'm going to do it on a new line just so it all looks nice and pretty. So our conditional statement is going to be if, whoops, I don't know what happened there, but we managed to lose the console. If, open brackets, start our regular expression. This is basically quantifying what we're looking for. So we use, go away, come back, regular expression. And what we're saying is what we're looking for. So if we see some exclamation marks, obviously you should realise that that's what you see when you get a successful ping. We want to run the ping commands, and the ping command we're going to run is an exec command, the privileged exec mode, and then we do the ping. The reason I do it in exec mode is that means we could add the extended ping commands we used in the previous example on my last blog. But for this one I'm just going to keep it simple. We're going to use our variable, which is still IP. So the commands we wish the Cisco router to run is ping and the IP address from our list we've created, which is the variable IP. And that's it. We close off our regular expression by closing the brackets. Oops, wrong ones. We want to use square brackets. We close the regular expression again, which is another set of closed brackets. Wrong one, those ones. Followed by our curly brackets. And we'll open up a new set of curly brackets for our next command set. So the next command is to put. So what do we do if the ping's successful and we get some exclamation marks? Well, we want to put a message so that's okay. So what I'm going to suggest we do is we open our variable and we say, let's list the IP, which is a good idea. So we use the IP variable again, it's there, we might as well use it. And then we'll say, okay, that's a good example. Okay, this has worked. So we can close that off. And that's basically what we do if we get exclamation marks. If we don't, if we get any other variation on pings, dots, stars, U's, whatever you might find, we need something else. So for this, we're going to use the else commands. And this is our conditional part of our scripts. So if you don't get exclamation marks, what I'd like you to do is put, and again I'm going to use the variable. It's always nice to know what the script is reporting. So the variable is IP, is one of our IP addresses, so we can find out what one fails, and then we just simply go star failed, star, so we know it's failed. And that basically is it. So we close off our brackets, and I could have done the same run, but I've saved it. So when I put this last set of brackets, that will run our script. Effectively, all the parts of the scripts are now complete. To summarise what we're doing, we're going to ping a list of addresses. Our address was 1 to 5, and if we get exclamation marks, we're going to print on the screen the IP address followed by the word OK. If you don't get the exclamation marks, so for any other condition, we're going to have the message failed. So let's hopefully see if the script runs. So there you go, first two pings worked, thankfully, and the third one is waiting. Oh, that seems to have failed, and then it pings the last addresses. So you get the message. As you can see, this is the result I expected to see. The first two pings were successful. Ping to 10.255.255.3 failed, and then the last two pings, 4 and 5, were successful. Now the reason for this is on R2 I have shut down the interface and therefore stopped the .3 network from existing, so that would have failed. So if I just quit from TCL for a second, and we go back to the command line and ping 10.255.255.3, you'll see exactly as we expect, it's failed. So we're getting dots, and as part of a condition wants to get exclamation marks, that's why it's failed. So, hope you've enjoyed my first video blog. I hope it's been informative, and I hope it's been of use. Please look forward to reading more of my blog, and if any questions, feel free to leave me comments or send me an email. Thanks a lot for your time.